and welcome back to Ranker Family Farm. So today I'm canning and we are on baby watch. Milkshake is getting awfully close. I'm going to show you a few signs so that you can see what we're looking for and you'll know why we think she's getting pretty close. Oh, she's got an itch. Now Glory's walking in front of her. They both have itches. Alright, so this is Glory, and when we look at her backside, you can tell she is not quite as poofy and starting to show signs of being swollen. When you look on the backside of Milkshake, you can see she is much more poofy where her tail's hitting, and I even noticed just a little bit of discharge. So I think she might have this baby today. Oh, to stay. Good boy. So I'm in the hoop house and things are finally starting to really ripen up. I haven't even got down to that end yet. I'm getting ready to go there. Along this back wall, everything's laid down because we never got a chance to get it tied up, and that's where a lot of cherry tomatoes are. So I'm kind of just been pulling them out and taking the tomatoes. So I've been just pulling them out. I started up in here a little bit. There's a little bit of a gap. Pulling them out, taking the tomatoes off because I'd like to plant my winter things and I just don't have enough time to do everything, and there's just way more cherry tomatoes than I want. Actually, I was going to tell some relatives when they come over this week just to come and get whatever they want because I'm going to start pulling them. And then along the middle, I don't have a whole lot of like really big tomatoes. Like I had the yellow ones outside in the garden. There were some real big slicers, but I think these are still going to be great for making salsa. And Bill wanted me to try to make some tomato soup. So I should have plenty. There's lots in here, and the plants are looking mostly pretty healthy. There's a few that aren't looking that great, but like I said, I'm pulling stuff out anyhow. So I'll just pull out the ones that don't look very good. It's definitely a jungle in here more than I was hoping for it to look like this year, but it is our first year and I'm just happy that the tomatoes are finally ripening. Bo took off the shade cloth for me, so I'm assuming that's probably helping a little bit. It was probably just a little bit too long. We probably could have had it off a few weeks before we did, but it's learning year, and like I said, we're just glad for what we're getting out of this. I'm going to walk farther down now because this middle section had those cherry tomatoes and spots I already had checked. One thing is I planted this hoop house willy-nilly. Just whatever was leftover plants that my mom gave me since I had killed so many of mine. And because of that, I have a lot of indeterminate varieties of tomatoes, meaning they are going to go all over. You can easily get a 20-foot tomato with those types of tomatoes. If I would have just planted determinate ones, they would have only gotten a certain size and only would have produced a certain amount, a determined amount of tomatoes. Next year for my hoop house, that's what I'll be planting. And also, I'm not going to plant nowhere near this amount of tomatoes in here. It's not set up to have this many tomatoes, and I'm afraid that I might end up with a lot of disease and hornworms because it's my first year and I really didn't even hardly notice any outside. It's been a decent year for that, but I'm afraid I might introduce something if I keep going at this pace. It's like from one end all the way over to here. I don't even have a path anymore. It's just kind of move things out of the way and keep trucking along. I do know I have bigger tomatoes in that back corner, and that's where I'm trying to get to. Also, I have discovered I just really don't thoroughly enjoy cherry tomatoes, and so if I only have one plant in my garden every year from here on out, it probably wouldn't be a bad thing. Good morning again. So this video kind of ended up spanning a few days. I started with tomatoes and worked my way into butter. And now we're still waiting on milkshake. I'm gonna dump the skim milk. Once I skim the cream off for making butter, it doesn't really offer anything good for us. Actually, a lot of farmers use that skim milk to feed their pigs and like help fatten them up. So I'm actually feeding it to our chickens and the dogs. Oh, was that a lot of running? Uh-huh. Did you run all the way over here? Uh-huh. Woo! I'm gonna dump the skim milk to the animals, and then we're gonna walk down and see what milkshake looks like this morning. Still no baby, still on baby watch. Now that I've dumped this milk into the chickens, Darcy, I saved some for Otis's bowl up at the house, and the turkeys, I forgot to say, the chickens and the dogs really seem to enjoy the milk. The turkeys, I don't really know that they drink much of it. I think they do a little bit, but it's not like they go after it as much as the chickens and the dogs do, which is kind of funny because I thought they would all do that. Which is kind of funny because I figured they would enjoy it as much as the chickens do, but they just really don't seem to. The last thing I gotta do is give them some grain. I dumped out some food garbage with the older layers because they don't have that fresh grass like the young ones do. So I made sure they got all the food scraps, but everybody's still gonna get some grain, and then we're gonna go check on Milkshake. Yeah, what are you doing? Are you waiting to go see Milkshake? Everybody's done up here. We're gonna walk down there, and while I'm walking, I thought I'd share a little bit more about how we got the milk and just another thing that he does with it with his extra. So one of the farmers down the road, he sold off his herd this spring, and well, not all of them, he sold a large portion though. And so he still milks a little bit. He had some calves they want to hold back, plus he doesn't want to get away from the raw milk. That's what he's had his entire life. So that's what he's had his entire life, and he offered us if we wanted some, we could have some. So I usually take him down some like baked goods or a pie. We offered him some chickens, but he wasn't interested. I try to make sure he gets like some tomatoes from the garden. I had some cucumbers and corn and stuff like that. I sent him down. Anyhow, 2 or 3 times a week we'll go down and we'll take a big old bucket like I had for the chickens. When I skim off that bucket, I get about a pound of butter out of it. So I'm trying to get a little bit more consistent. My schedule's just been really crazy. I've been on the go a lot more, and so yeah, there went Darcy, huh? I've been on the go a lot this last month. So it's just trying to get that schedule going and then having time to do all the other things I need to do. So once I get a little bit better and my schedule frees up, once Matthew gets his driver's license, there she goes, huh? There's Darcy. Once my schedule frees up a little bit, I really do want to do like the sour cream and the yogurt and then move on to the cheeses. I figured a little bit at a time is better than trying to take on all of it. Even though I was trying to do all of it, it wasn't working. But even with us taking milk a few days a week, he still has like 25 gallons of excess milk each day. What he's been doing with that extra is he just takes it and fertilizes his cropland with it. You can also like fertilize your garden and the land around you, just kind of improve things that way. Alright, so we're down here with Milkshake and Glory and Brisket. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see them. So right there, white face, is our Milkshake. Calf is Brisket, and on the other side of Milkshake, is Glory. Brisket is almost 2 months old. We had gotten Glory a year ago in April, and we got Milkshake. She'll be here about a year in December. We had Glory with a bull 6 to 8 weeks before Milkshake came, and then was with the bull, so we had to wait for her to go in a cycle, and then we don't know exactly if he got her
right away at the first time or not. That's another reason there's a gap between Glory and Milkshake having calves.
So that kind of wraps us up. We canned some tomatoes, we made some butter, talked about what to do with your extra butter, and we're still on baby watch for Milkshake. I have a fun name the kids and I kind of picked out. Mia's not sure if she loves it, but Eliza and I think it's pretty cool, so we'll be excited to share that with the baby, hopefully next week. All right, guys, we'll go out, find something fun to learn, and grow something beautiful. Until next time, bye now.